So I wanted to start today by kind of just letting fans get to know you a little bit better. And how did you get started in music? And when did you know, like, I want to do this for my career?
Well, kind of when I was a little girl. My mom brought home the movie The Coal Miner's Daughter. Yes, and they had VCRs, DVDs, they had a VCR. And I think I watched it so many times I broke the tape, and it came to a point where, my mom had a whole wall of mirrors in our living room. And I would stand in front of the mirrors and I would sit there and sing all of the songs from the movie and kind of quote it word for word. And when I was in school, I would join the chorus or, do plays and stuff in school, but I would never, ever, 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 like, go out for, like, the lead. I was always too nervous. I was like, oh, I can't do it, too shy. So I would just do everything in like the group settings. And then finally, I guess, when karaoke came out and decided to start being big, I started going out to like a few different bars and I'd sit there and look through the book and I'm like, yeah, I'll sing one of these times, and didn't end up getting up. The night would end, forget it. And then one night after like a few shots of encouragement, I kind of got up there and I sang How Do I Live, Leanne Rimes' version, right? A little brave one for the first time. And after everybody started clapping, I'm like, hey, this is cool. I can do this. And I started, going out regularly and singing more frequently. And then I would have people come up to me and be like, can you record that song for me? And like it would be a Gretchen Wilson or a Martina McBride or a Reba. They're like, can you put that? I want to hear it in my car. And I'm like, well, there's got to be some kind of law against me like singing somebody else's song, recording it, and giving it to you to play in your car. So I started researching songwriting and started researching mechanical mechanical licensing. And through that, I met some different songwriters. We started collaborating online. One of them that I had met, it's like, you got to go to Nashville. And so I'm from New Jersey. Yeah, yeah, country girl from New Jersey. But he's like, you got to go to Nashville and meet people there. That's where you got to connect. So I was like, yeah, I'll get there. So I started actually like finding some of the songwriters and getting some songs and writing some. And I started recording an album in New Jersey. Just so I figured I'm gonna give people my own stuff. Finally, he convinced me to go to a songwriting convention here in Nashville. And so when I came here, he introduced me to Ted Hewitt, who was Rodney Atkins' producer. And it was kind of at the time right before Rodney Atkins' CD, If You're Going Through Hell, came out. So it was kind of like I got in with Ted at the perfect time because Rodney just like exploded. And, I finished up my first CD and put it out. It was called It's a Woman Thing. And I just finished the CD, and I went and did a photo shoot at a theater in New Jersey, and they're like, I guess 6 weeks later, I get a call from a promoter. They're like, Sammy Kershaw's coming to town. You want to open for him? I'm like, oh, sure. I'd never sang with a band before. Yes, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God. They're like, well, get your band together. I'm like, band, okay. So I came to Nashville and we assembled some studio musicians here. I did 3 rehearsals at SIR, flew them all back to New Jersey, and opened for Sammy Kershaw. And it was kind of like the start of everything. And because people would come up to me, you'd never know, you never sang with a band. I was like, yes, I pulled it off. And then a year later, I had the CD going, putting it out on all the digital sites and selling it on my website and stuff. And I was trying to assemble a band at home. And I had gotten a call back from the theater again. Crystal Gale is coming to town. And they're like, oh, you want to open for Crystal Gale? I'm like, hello. Her sister's the whole reason I started singing country music. Yeah, So I got to open for Crystal, got to chat with her after the show, and her husband Bill and her road manager, they were just so nice, so down to earth. And, after that, I started looking for songs, to record a new project. I had this one and, I started doing shows and doing some opening act gigs now and assembling a band there in New Jersey and, just playing out in bars and different places. Like, this is pretty cool, and I'm just opening for people. And so I started looking for the new songs for my project. And at that point, Rodney had exploded, so Ted started bringing me songs from writers. Like the first time I had writers tell me, oh no, our publishing company won't let an independent artist cut our material. So it kind of got frustrating while you were looking. But this time around, Ted's bringing me songs, by writers like Ashley Gorley and Kelly Lovelace and Edward Monroe Hill and Karen Rochelle and Danny Wells. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting all these writers and they're actually saying, yes, I can cut their songs. And I was like, this is cool. So I had gotten one of the songwriters had sent me a song titled So Much More that's on the project. And he's like, I'm only sending you one song to listen to. He goes, I read your bio, heard all about you. And he's like, I figured this was the perfect song. You let me know what you're thinking. When I got it, I was like, oh, it does. It talks about being from a small town and chasing your dreams. I said, that's me. And so I cut the song, and we were going to title the album So Much More, because I thought it was just so much more than the first album. And then an opportunity came to me to record a duet with Crystal Gale. I was like, oh my God, yes. I mean, this is just the most amazing thing ever. So we went into Crystal's studio. Yes, and her son Christos Katsimos, engineered and co-produced the session with Ted Hewitt, and I actually was in the studio with Crystal Gale, and we're cutting a song together. She's giving me advice. I'm like, how does it get any better than this, and in the midst of all that, I was just out playing a lot of shows, opening for a bunch of different acts, and actually, I'm still in Jersey. It's a 2-hour flight. It's not too bad now that Southwest flies direct. It makes it a lot simpler. But yeah, so I fly back and forth quite frequently. And when I first started coming to Nashville, I have 5 children. When I started,
You're busy.
yes, I started coming here. My brother and his wife would help me out, and they had 4 kids of their own. They would help me, watching the kids, so I could come back and forth. So they kind of made it possible for me. Well, a year and a half ago, my sister-in-law passed away, massive heart attack, just right in front of her kids. Just so it was kind of it was awful. But I figured since she did so much to help me, when I first started coming here for my career. I'm looking at this thing. Me and Crystal cut this song, Beautiful Life. I'm like, and I was looking at the program for it that my sister did, and it had Donna's picture, and it said A Beautiful Life on it. I said, this is it. I got to change the title of the CD to A Beautiful Life. And I dedicated the whole album to my sister-in-law. Yeah, for my brother and his kids, because they did so much to help me. If they didn't, I wouldn't be standing here today, so.
Now, on the album, did you do any of the writing? Because I know you write, or
not on this one, because I kind of had it in my mind. I wrote some on the first one, and I love writing. But this time around, I kind of wanted to, when the big-time songwriters were allowing me to cut their stuff, I'm like, you know what? As many of them want to give me their songs, I'm going to put them on there because, you know what? Yes, they've had #1 hits. So, you know what? Maybe lightning will strike right here. So, that's the way I looked at it. So.
and when you're looking through the songs that are being offered to you, do you try to pick things that kind of relate to you so you kind of feel it when you're singing?
Well, I do. I do. Or, like, if there's somebody that I know that's going through something or has been through that, I kind of try and channel the energy through them. But my new single that's out now, Girls Will Be Girls, yes, it's fun. It's kind of one of those songs every woman can relate to. I mean, who didn't, like, mess with their mom's makeup when they were little, or go to school and change their clothes, or do things that mom wasn't supposed to see, and just going throughout the whole song, it kind of just tells that story of women. It's like a women empowerment song.
I bet you get a really good reaction from the fans doing that one live.
Yes, we absolutely do. So, and people who haven't even heard the song, once they're getting through the first chorus, they're singing along the next chorus around. So that's always a good sign because it's catchy.
Well, I know last year was a big year for you, and you have a ton going on, but I know one moment that was really huge was Grand Ole Opry debut. Not only that, but with Crystal. Tell me all about it.
That was probably the most amazing moment ever. I said, you know what, if I never did anything else in my career, that was the moment I've dreamed of my whole life, was singing on that stage. And when Crystal asked me if I wanted to come and do the duet with her, yeah, no, I'm busy that day, but yeah, hello, yes, oh my God, I couldn't even believe it. I don't even know how to still thank her enough for bringing me on stage and singing that. It was actually the first time her and I had ever sang the song live together. We did it in the studio, but we never sang the song live, so we did one rehearsal, and then went and did it. But standing in that circle where so many country legends have stood. I mean, the feeling, there's just nothing like it. And I'm just kind of standing there like in awe, looking at everybody, the packed house. I was like, I'm singing on the Opry. This is real.
Were you nervous or was it more just pure excitement?
Oh no, I was nervous. Not gonna lie, I'm nervous. I was like, oh my God, don't let me forget the words, And at one point, actually, I was standing there and I was kind of getting lost in the moment, and the musicians are playing, and there's like a breakdown chorus at the end, and I was supposed to come in first. Well, I didn't. Crystal did, thank goodness, because no one would have ever noticed it. So, yeah.
That is amazing. That's such a cool thing to be a part of. And going back a little, you said you're being from New Jersey. Did you grow up listening to country music? How did country music become the genre of music that you're like, okay, that's the one for me?
Well, like I said, I mean, when I saw the movie, The Coal Miner's Daughter, I'd walk around singing all of Loretta's songs. And my mom listened to country music. And a lot of the older country music, I will admit, when I was younger, me and my brother and sister used to be like, turn that off, Ma. We didn't want to hear it. Until, like I said, the movie came and I started expanding my horizons, and listening to more stuff. Then when Reba was pretty big in the 80s, I just kind of like loved Reba. I'm like, okay. And then, Garth Brooks, like all the different artists came out, Brooks and Dunn, and I was just listening to everybody. And I'm like, this is pretty cool music, this is what I want to sing. And when I actually started singing karaoke, I would go out and I would sing, Gretchen Wilson, Lori Morgan, Reba, Martina. It was all country music I sang. I still sing some rock songs, when I have shows. We break out with some Heartbreaker from Pat Benatar and stuff. And people were like, where'd that come from, But country music, it just kind of where my heart is.
Well, I think it fits your voice really well. So.
Well, thank you so much. I said, and one more thing Crystal did for me, I got to tell you, is she introduced me to her sister. So I even got to meet Loretta Lynn.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, Crystal brought me backstage for the Loretta's 50th anniversary on the Grand Ole Opry. So that was just like the most special moment. So I got to get a picture with her. I was like, yay, got to meet Loretta.
That's amazing, definitely. Now, with I know you had a big 2013. You had that, the Opry experience. I know, but 2014 is just getting going. What do you have in the works this year? What should we be looking out for?
Well, I have a brand new music video that's going to be coming out. We're working on for the single "Girls Will Be Girls." We just started shooting it right before I left for coming here. So, yeah, we'll be finishing it when I get back. So I'm pretty excited about that, and shows and. Who knows what's coming around the next corner, I'm just going to keep taking it day by day and see what happens.